Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is my guy, he's 35 years old. He is originally from the United States, but he's living in Europe. He hops around different countries because he's a digital nomad, and been living a little while in the country of Hungary. And he shares his story how he, I guess a couple of months ago, started seeing this gal who is a graduate student, I guess about 24 years old, give or take. And you're going to see how it turns out that obviously she'd recently broken up with a boyfriend. And she obviously perceived this guy as a nice guy, and the kind of nonsense gals will pull on with the guys they perceive as nice guys. In other words, testing their boundaries, doing disrespectful things, jerking them around. And our guy here makes mistakes, but he's also smart enough not to get in a relationship with her. And obviously, eventually, when enough's enough, gets rid of her. And you're going to see the many lessons involved here. But the biggest thing, guys, is you got to understand that a lot of gals out there, many don't care. But guys, they disrespect and pull bullcrap on. And a lot of times when they're, they're not so sure with an ex-boyfriend, but they're staying in touch with him, and they're trying you on for size, they got no problem jerking you around, messing with you, mind games, all that stuff, just to get what the best possible deal for them. And the second you see any signs of this, you got to cut ties, cut your losses, and move on. It's not worth it, because these girls don't care. They absolutely do not care what guys they mess around with, and they become the biggest freaking liars and cheaters and a problem. And frankly, gals like this, they're back and forth. They, if you can stand it, are only be friends with benefits anyway. And by the way, gals like this that are, back and forth and wishy-washy and trying to figure out which guy they want, a lot of times if they perceive you as a nice guy, they're not going to sleep with you. And that is one of the biggest signs, because a guarantee of the guys that they see as bad boys, they will sleep with. So I want you to hear this story here. You can see what's going on here. Many of you guys will probably be able to identify real quick what's going on, and a lesson to learn of what to do and what not to do and how they behave. But again, before I get into this, guys, come join me and check out the men's community over on Locals or Patreon. Join me and your fellow scumbags as we have fun over there. And you can join as a free member and see what it's all about, some previews here and there. Or you become a paying supporter, $10 a month on either Patreon or Locals, and get all my exclusive content, which I do 2 or 3 videos a week, as well as all my videos from all channels commercial-free in a censorship-free environment. Really trying to build the men's community over there as a side to the business over here. So for the guys that have been coming over, appreciate it, and we're all having a good time. And I'll post a link at the top of the comment section as well as in the description. Alright, his story starts off, says here, Dear SSM, I'm writing to you as a 36-year-old fan. I'm originally from the United States and have been living in Hungary for the last few years. I am what people would call a digital nomad. I work remotely, so I take full advantage of enjoying a change of scenery while going on adventures. That's awesome, man. Enjoy it. Some friends of me would call me a passport bro as a joke, but I guess in a way that is true. There are exotic ladies here, and I have been enjoying myself. I definitely have a better dating life here versus back in the USA. Well, pretty much anybody has a better dating life in places other than the USA. Maybe in England it's equally difficult, but that's probably about it. While there are less women infected by third-wave euphemism out here, as well as in the bordering countries, one should not think that he could just survive here, or he just could arrive here, immediately swoop up some traditional girl, offer a fee, and return back to the USA engaged 1 year later, because he will be in for one rude awakening. This is especially true if you come here as a U.S. citizen. I've seen it happen to a few guys who come here and thought they scored some local Barbies, only to get in trouble later on down the road. The story I'm sharing with you is not your typical SSM channel horror story, but there are still lessons to be learned from it, and it backs up much of what you've discussed over the years. Well, funny how that is true. I am, in fact, a relationship guy and consider myself a recovered nice guy. While there are still a few things I have handled differently in the story, I'm just glad it didn't happen to me 10 plus years ago, because I would have handled it much worse back then. A lot of guys that watch me here are, in fact, relationship guys, but they want to have this knowledge to protect themselves, and that's a very smart way to go. This last spring, I went to a festival with some friends. Enter Jessica. Not Jessica with a J, Jessica with a Y. Even though it turns out to be a Jessica. Yes, that's right, SSM. As I said, I've been listening to your channel for a while now, so you know darn well where I'm going with this story. Jessica is a graduate student at an international university in my town. She's a petite Latina, long black hair all the way down to her butt. She's an 8, no denying it. And yes, I know you said about dating the 8s and 10s long term. Yeah, you can have. I'm okay with the 8s, the long term, but you're gonna be on your toes, man, and you got to be able to lay out boundaries and handle yourself like a man. 9s and 10s, hookups, short term. That's it. It's not worth the aggravation. You're gonna get already. You'll have your hands full with the 8s, but that is where I draw the line beyond that for the long term. Well, I approached her and we started chatting. We ended up wandering around together and warmed up to each other. All right. Eventually, day turned into night, and it became a dance party. Jessica and I hit off on the dance floor. All right, cool. There were a couple of guys who knew Jessica from her class who came up and tried to make the moves on her. They were a little aggressive, enough was enough, and I took initiative and played the part of the bad boy and went for it. I grabbed her hand, pulled her deep into the middle of the crowded dance floor, far enough until we lost sight of those bozos. Well, good for you. It's called taking charge. Women like that. Feminine women like that. So there we were, bumping and a grinding and a boom, and we were making out like crazy. We stayed together until the party ended at 4 o'clock in the morning, exchanged numbers, and that was it. No, we did not spend the night together. Okay. Good. Well, okay. If you would have hooked up, great. But that would have been girlfriend material. But if you didn't hook up that night, okay, that's a little bit better in terms of girlfriend material. But remember, you say she's an 8, and I got a problem with that. But probably to some people, she's a 9 or a 10. It just depends who you're talking to. And that will not prove to be long-term, as we shall see in this story. We texted the next day, and I invited her over later that night. We attempted to watch a movie, didn't get very far, and I only made it to second base. Yes, of course, I attempted to initiate you-know-what, but she stopped me and said she didn't want to have it just yet, because she wants to wait and see how things go between us first. Well, I'm okay with that. Seriously. That's fine. But if you've gone on several dates and you still haven't gone all the way, then you have reason to say, okay, I'm calling it quits. My problem is when gals like this make guys wait like you, but meanwhile they meet other guys and that night they're hooking up. That's the issue that I take in situations. But we shall see how this goes. Well, I respected it for sure. And now the question was, is she really a type of girl who actually wants to wait, or is she the type who would bend the rules for the bad boy? Yes, I was well aware of the latter being the possibility. It's always a possibility, but you really won't know until you know unless you know somebody that knows her. She told me that I like you and I want to keep seeing you. Good signs. Well, it was too early to assume anything. Yes, SSM, and I am all about taking my time to get to know the girl. No falling too hard too fast, and don't be in a hurry to slap on any official labels. Good, you're learning. Let her be the one to ask where things are going and ask about the relationship and all that. That's the best place to be. And I had no intention of that sort of anytime soon. At that moment, my intention was to just get to know her and see where it goes. Good. A non-attached attitude. Perfect. An indifferent attitude. Guys that are indifferent and non-attached, but not in a D-bag kind of way, that gets the best results. Because they're uncertain about that guy. They're curious. He's mysterious. And that will draw them towards you. Meanwhile, the guys that are a sure thing, they get bored with real quick. And you guys know that. Well, most of you. Well, we continued to hang out over the next few weeks. She would text me on her own and ask if I was around. A good sign, I guess. Not that it meant I should think about getting down on one knee or anytime soon. It was things like, hey, I'm out of class early. I'm free if you would like to meet. We would go to the park and spend a couple hours there. It was nice. She would even take some snacks and drinks for us when we went out. Well, that's cool and everything, but remember, you don't want to have it that she texts you and then say it's a Tuesday afternoon and she says she's gotten out of class early and she texts you and you're like, okay, and you just go off and meet her. Remember, you want to have a life, so you can't be so available because the guy's so available that can just drop what he's doing and go meet her because she got out of class early. That's going to get old real quick. You're a busy guy. You got shit going. Even though you're a digital nomad, you may not always be so free and available. That's the worst thing you can do. Every once in a while, okay, I'm good in a couple hours, but just like that, dropping everything to go see her, that's a bad place to be. And they may deny that, but trust me on that. He says, damn, a lady who's actually taking initiative and asking to meet up. Let's just say it happened too many times where I would try to make plans with a girl, only to get the all classic, I don't know yet, I'll let you know, only to not let me know. And the suggested date and time passes. By the way, these days, when that shit happens, I go right ahead and make alternate plans if she doesn't get back to me quick enough. Yeah, exactly. There you go. If the suggested date and time passes and I still don't hear from her, I'll delete her from my contacts and move on. I'm not going to wait around for any of them to decide that they really are finally ready to give me a chance years down the road, but I digress. Anyways, for the most, I was liking the direction it was going with Jessica. Okay, cool. But I want to know how long this is going before you haven't gotten any. I got a couple dates, okay, but after a certain amount, it's like, okay, enough's enough. And yeah, I like the fact that you invite a girl out for a drink or something like that, and they can't make up their mind about it, and, oh, I'll have to get back to you. Don't even waste your time. If she likes you, believe me, she'll give you an answer right away, make plans with you. Well, things were going quite nicely for the next few weeks until one day she mentioned that she was going away for the weekend to another city about a 2-hour train right away. She said she'd be staying with a friend, but her purpose for the visit was because she needed to get some help editing her term paper from a professor friend in her field. A professor friend in her field, huh? Uh-huh. And she's an 8, in your opinion, and all that? Uh-huh. We'll see about this. You've been seeing her a couple weeks now. Now, she isn't your girlfriend, but still, I'm guessing you haven't gone all the way yet. This is the point where, if you've hung out multiple times, this is where I would probably be walking away at this point. But that's just me, because after a couple weeks, or multiple get-togethers, okay, not necessarily a red flag, but I found it kind of odd that she doesn't know a single professor in this university town who could help her. She mentioned that the professor is a much older guy and that he likes her. Now we're getting down to it. Well, women certainly know when a guy likes them. Now, she could be milking it for all it's worth to get to help, or she likes him too. We shall see. He even made a few suggested comments like, come visit me in my lake house, you can stay here. She claimed that I only met him in public places, and I asked, would you like some company? I'd be up for a weekend adventure, and she told me, no, that's okay, I expect to be very busy. Yeah, obviously getting busy with the professor. Now again, you didn't make it out like she's your official girlfriend. Yes, it's just a gal you're seeing, but still, there's some red flags here, man. I couldn't help but wonder, is she using her charm to get him to help her? Yes. Is she servicing him in return? Likely. Well, if anything, I kept a red flag on my radar and cannot rule any of that out. You absolutely cannot rule anything out. But if there's enough red flags, okay, this is a girl, it's just friends with benefits. But you haven't got many benefits yet, dude. Well, the night before she left, she invited me to come over to her place. And she drops the, I need to tell you something line. And I'm thinking, oh crap, here it comes. She said, I just got out of a relationship right before I met you. I did not intend to date for a while until you came along. And I felt this great connection between us. I usually don't do this. Yeah, we've heard that before. I never do this. Meanwhile, she's got all you in her mouth or something like that. I'm well aware about the whole I usually don't do this thing could be a lie. She continues on, saying, my ex and I ended in a very ugly way. I have some unresolved feelings right now, and I think I want to have one more conversation with him, and I would prefer to part in good terms. Unresolved feelings, and then this is no place to have this girl as a potential girlfriend. The problem is with women, when they break up with one guy and they're right on to the next one, they never resolve anything. You know, guys typically have more time alone to work shit out until they move on. Right here, I'm not buying a lot of this. SSM, I vaguely recall a video once from a retired Chad where a gal was undecided about 2 guys, and the Chad said, you can call him and end it. She did, and they were happily married since. Unfortunately, I did not handle it quite like that guy. I told Jessica, so go right ahead, call him right now, and end it. Jessica said, but I want to have a conversation with him. I asked her, you mean you want to meet him in person? Are you planning to meet this weekend? She looked away. I don't know, maybe. We've been together for a while. I don't want to end in bad terms. Well, here's where I'm confused. Are they broken up or not? Because at first it sounds like she got out of a relationship. Well then, at this point, the term should have been dealt with before. This is wishy-washy. She said, I really enjoyed the time he and I spent together. Everything was fine except for the distance. It's just a 2-hour train ride to that place. I started wondering what if I go visit my family for a few weeks. I already had a July visit back in the USA planned a while back. If anything, let's just say she and I kept seeing each other and getting more serious. There was no way I was going to cancel or short my July trip at all. I asked her, you ended this relationship because of the distance. So what if he moved here? Or if you moved closer to this town, would you get back together? Yes. If she truly broke up because of the distance and she wants somebody closer, then you bet your ass there's still feelings there, because it wasn't like a big falling out otherwise. Yeah, this is not good. This ain't girlfriend material, man. Jessica replied, "Oh, he's not moving here, and I'm not moving there." I responded to her, "That's not what I asked. Are you saying that everything else was okay with this guy, but the only reason you broke up was because of the distance?" She says to me, "Yes, but I want to keep seeing you. You're a great guy, and I like you, and I don't want to hurt you." Uh-oh. When a girl says something like, "Oh, you're such a great guy and I don't want to hurt you," that means they know they're going to hurt you. They know there's something about their character that, that is likely not going to go well. I've heard that a few times said to me in my nice guy stages in college, I really like you. I just don't want to hurt you. Then they know they're going to fucking jerk you around and screw you over. They have the things they like about you and good time with you, but they don't like you enough to not hurt you. And here comes a leaky faucet, SSM. I said, "Yeah, another lesson I learned. Not bend over backwards over the whole crying act. It just doesn't work on me." Instead, I was feeling a little disappointed, not going to lie, but I kept control of myself. I simply gave an emotionless stare at her and said, "Don't worry, you're not going to hurt me if this doesn't work out. I'll be just fine whatever happens." Nope, no crying from my end, no getting down on one knee or begging her, and absolutely no showing up outside her window with a boombox, if you know what I mean. Yes, I know what you mean, and John Cusack somewhere, if he watches this, certainly knows what you mean. Dude, this girl's friends with benefits. She can't make up her mind. She obviously still has an attachment to her ex, even though he's far away. Obviously, there's something with his professor. Nothing more than a hookup, friends with benefits. But you aren't hooking up yet. This is what can happen, guys. I continued, "You take the weekend to think about it. If you did not make a clean break from this guy, I can't keep seeing you. I won't be a rebound guy or the other guy." Well, good for you. But I wouldn't be getting a relationship with this chick. Now, there are two regrets how I handled this situation. One, I wouldn't have given her that weekend to think about it. She would have had to make the decision right then and there if she wants to keep seeing me. I agree. I would have told her to make the decision right then and there. And two, I should have left her flat that moment. I said my piece, but I did not. I stayed for like another hour. We cuddled and made out so much, and we chatted. Smack! That just showed her just how much you like her, and that shows that you're not meaning as much business as, But if there was one good thing to come from it, out of staying there longer, it was catching another red flag. It was now 11 p.m. She checked her phone, and I saw a missed call. She immediately called back. I could hear that there was a guy on the phone. They were conversing in Spanish, so I could not understand. She was laughing and talking very enthusiastically. This went on for a bit. What a change in mood. Dude, even though you're not officially a couple, you are seeing each other enough that she likes you so much, and there she is talking to some other guy, laughing and right in front of you. Dude, that's on purpose. That's a shit test. Are you going to check her and get back? I would have walked right out. That's your time with her. She's disrespecting you. She was purposely crying for me a moment ago, and now she's laughing and possibly flirting with somebody else. See? Which means they can control the tears. After she hung up the phone, I asked her who was that. She said, "He's a friend from the International Club. He invited me out to go out for some drinks tonight, but it's getting kind of late." I started to wonder just how many guy friends she has. Red flag, I know. You're darn right, man. And again, the disrespect. She's testing you to see if you're going to check her. Will this nice guy put up with it? And oh yeah, you haven't gotten any yet. I'd be cutting your losses at this point. But guys got to learn. Well, the weekend came and she left for the city. I took a moment to think about everything that just happened. I basically prepared for this to dwindle to nothing, just like that. I also thought if she came back and decided that she would like to see me after all, it's going to take even longer for me to consider slapping on any official labels. She'll have to continue to chase me and put in at least 10 times more of the effort. Well, I agree with that, given how this is going. But still, I stand with it, not relationship material. Too much BS. I didn't text her at all that weekend. Good. Instead, I spent my time exploring places on my bike and hanging out with my bros. On Monday, Jessica texted me if I'm free to meet up. I told her, let's meet outside. No way was I going to meet her at her place or mine, not at least before we have a conversation about where we stand. We got to a picnic table. I made a point to sit down across from her. Now listen to this part. And oh yeah, smack! You shouldn't have met up with her so quickly. Again, you're showing just how available you are. And that shows her that you really like her, which gives her leverage. You're a busy guy. I'm not free now, but I may be later today in a few hours at the bare minimum, or tomorrow. Make her wait. Anyway, she got up from her spot, sat down extremely close to me, crossed her legs, and put her knee over my leg. I could smell her perfume. Did that cloud my judgment? Maybe a bit, but once again, do not worry, SSM. I had no intention of rushing things, especially now. Well, that's good to hear, but you rushed to go see her, and that's all she needed to know. But no, she came over and sat next to you, and she put her leg over your leg, touching you. She knows what she's doing, trying to rope you in. She told me I ended things with my ex for good, and I want to keep seeing you. I told her I'm up for that, but internally I'm still thinking that she will still have to try harder to prove her interest in me. Well, yes, she would. And how do you know exactly that she ended things with him? There's too many red flags with her. We continue to meet up over the next few weeks, mostly for coffee, ice cream drinks, or walks in the park. Because of the whole ordeal, I was not ready to invest anything in anything fancy anytime soon. Very smart. SSM, like you said, 1 drink rule, and see if there's a vibe from there. Well, dude, you're already seeing her. You don't have to do the 1 drink rule after you've been seeing her for weeks. That only applies in the beginning, guys. After you meet with her for that drink and she seems cool and isn't appalled that you just want to meet her for a drink, then you can slowly start to do things a little bit more. But I wouldn't be doing any full-fledged expensive dates or outings or gatherings until you slept with her, until she's done that part, to show you that, A, she's into you and she likes you that much. Yeah, I said that. I did bring her as my +1 to a party thrown by one of my bros. Much of the same group who went to the festival was there. So they all got to know each other for a moment. There were times we ended up in each other's flats, making out, cuddling, and she said she still wanted to wait. I've been out of there, man. I was just seeing her long enough, but you have to learn. Is it possible she wanted to wait, especially after getting out of the relationship? Though you never know again, no guarantee she would choose to be with she would wait for the bad boys. There's no way this chick would wait for the bad boys. There were a few other red flags popping up over the next few weeks. Even though I wasn't necessarily losing sleep over any of them, they were making me reconsider how I felt about how things stood with her. So you notice you keep all these red flags popping up, and yet you keep seeing her and spending your valuable time with her. Not to mention probably some money, because she knows that carrot at the end of the stick is the pussy, and you haven't gotten it yet. And she probably knows once you get the pussy, you're probably out of there. You should have cut your losses and moved on. She mentioned that her lease was expiring in a couple months. I didn't react much. There was not a snowball chance in hell I was going to offer her to move in with me way too soon. You're darn right about that, man. I'd fly to Hungary and bitch slap you if you let her move in. One time she asked me, how long do you think a couple should get to know each other before getting married? I said, whoa, back up. A little early to be talking about marriage. Even though I'm in a relationship guy and I'm dating with a purpose of getting married